First of all, thank you to everyone who is here for the debate as we observe the 9th anniversary of Gamergate. It's a topic that's near and dear to my heart, as I know it is for many of you. The focus of this discussion is the charge that Ninetails has levied against Gamergate supporters. Ninetails has alleged that the movement was motivated by misogyny, that those of us involved in Gamergate used concerns about games journalism, censorship, and creative freedom as a smokescreen so that they could pursue their true aims of driving women out of gaming. As someone who is for several years heavily involved with Gamergate in multiple capacities, I am happy to address this accusation, and I'm glad that Ninetails has graciously agreed to debate this topic tonight. Unfortunately, I believe that Ninetails has fallen for some misinformation, and I hope that a good faith conversation will clear things up. To me, Gamergate was never about hating anyone. It was a backlash to unethical games journalism that the gaming community had to put up with for far too long. In August 2014, the gaming press had an opportunity to change that, to implement reforms necessary to build trust. Within the span of less than 2 weeks, a high number a number of high-profile games journalists across multiple publications were embroiled in scandals of having engaged in ethical misconduct. Kotaku's Nathan Grayson wrote 3 articles involving Zoe Quinn, including a January 2014 article that promoted Zoe Quinn's game Depression Quest over 49 other games. Grayson did not disclose that he had been friends with Quinn since at least June 2012, or that he had appeared in the credits of the game. Mr. Grayson had also written 6 articles over the span of 3 months about Robin Arnott, including a positive review of his game's sound self, even though the two had been friends. Arnott and Grayson had been friends on Facebook since March 2013, and in his review, he talks about how Arnott greeted him with a hug. While hugging people and being Facebook friends is not inherently indicative of a real life friendship, it does raise questions, especially when you're reviewing his game, praising his game in 3 other articles and quoting him in 2 other articles, all in the span of 3 months. It raises eyebrows. Another Kotaku writer, Patricia Hernandez, had allegedly provided positive coverage of 3 of Anna Anthropy's games, as well as Anna Anthropy's book, without disclosing that Anthropy was her roommate. Polygon's Danielle Reindow gave Gone Home a 10 out of 10 without disclosing that she had been, quote, close friends, unquote, with the game's composer, Chris Remu, since at least 2008. Another Polygon writer, Ben Kuchera, had allegedly donated money to indie game developers whose games he reported on. Leah Alexander, who worked for several publications, had written 8 articles, later a 9th article, about Anna Anthropy or her games. These articles did not disclose that the two appeared to be friends. It's not clear exactly when their friendship began, but the two had publicly discussed going to dinner together on at least 2 occasions, had regularly tweeted at each other since at least October 2010, and another Twitter user had contemporaneously thought that they were friends, or might be friends, on October 28th, 2010. All of these scandals had blown up over the course of less than 2 weeks, and the response from the games press was largely to ignore the situation or deny any wrongdoing. Some websites even censored discussion of the scandals, infuriating users and backfiring for the censors, resulting in the topics blowing up even bigger. But even so, it wasn't too late for the games press, and it wasn't too late to stop Gamergate from happening. It is understandable that people would want answers to the very real ethical questions raised. All they had to do is what any honest person would do in this circumstance: address the ethical concerns, implement reforms to reduce future ethical breaches, apologize to the audience, and establish a dialogue with those who have brought these concerns to light. And of course, they could also make it clear that they don't condone any harassment as well. But they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to reform. They didn't want to have conversations. They wanted to shut them down. They embraced an us versus them mentality. They created Gamergate. August on August 28th, 2014, 9 years ago tomorrow, the games press attacked Gamasutra, Destructoid, Kotaku, Rock Paper Shotgun, Ars Technica, Vice, BuzzFeed, The Daily Beast, Dr. Nerdlove, and the Financial Post, and Dan Golding of the Free Play Independent Games Festival all wrote articles declaring that the gamer identity needed to come to an end. The gamers are dead articles. Some of these articles, such as Golding's, even declared that, quote, the hysterical fits of those inculcated at the heart of gamer culture might on the surface be claimed as crusaders for journalistic integrity, or defense against falsehoods, along with a mix of the hatred of women and an expansive bigotry thrown in for good measure. What is actually going on is an attempt to retain hegemony. Make no mistake, this is the exertion of power in the name of male gamer orthodoxy, an orthodoxy that has already begun to disappear. The Gamers Are Dead articles prove to be disastrous and have disastrous consequences for the games press. Rather than creating an atmosphere of dialogue and reform, the games press upset large swaths of their audience. The Gamergate hashtag exploded and forums all over the internet discussed the articles. People were pissed, and understandably so. Why did all these articles come out on the same day and say more or less the same thing? Why are they all an ideological attack on the gamer identity as a whole? An identity that many people have embraced and found both comfort and community in. When you treat people this way, you shouldn't be surprised that there's a backlash. Some people did legitimately harass other people on both sides. Some people legitimately harassed individuals involved in these scandals in the weeks leading up to Gamergate, and that's wrong. That should be condemned wholeheartedly and without reservation. And the Gamergate community has worked to condemn harassment. They created the Gamergate Harassment Patrol to fight against harassment, and multiple studies have shown that the vast majority of Gamergate supporters did not support harassment or engage in harassment. A study conducted by Women Action Media that analyzes the accounts on anti-Gamergater Randy Harper's block list of alleged Gamergate supporters found that out of the 9,844 alleged Gamergate supporters, only 65 had engaged in harassment. That comes to 0.66% of Gamergate supporters engaging in harassment, and I have no problem condemning those 65 individuals. Another study conducted by Brandwatch at the request of Newsweek analyzed 500,000 Gamergate tweets with a random sampling of 1/4 of the tweets on the hashtag. Brandwatch found that 6,315 of the 500,000 tweets analyzed contained negative sentiments towards Anita Sarkeesian, Brianna Wu, Leigh Alexander, or Zoe Quinn. That comes to 1.26% of the 500,000 tweets analyzed. The study did not address if the 6,315 tweets in particular met the definition of harassment, but rather they used the metric of whether or not they contained negative sentiment. These are just the events that led up to the Gamergate conflict, and the Gamers Are Dead articles. The next several years saw almost constant events, controversies, and happenings. To cover it all in the brief amount of time allotted to me here would be impossible. So let me say in closing, I think Ninetails is wrong about Gamergaters being misogynistic. I think people had good reasons to be critical of the games press. That people had good reasons to recoil at the Gamers Are Dead articles, perhaps even more so after it was revealed that nearly 150 games journalists across competing publications were in a private mailing group and had used that group to blacklist game developers and games journalists that they didn't like. How many other such groups exist that we don't know about? These are reasonable questions and reasonable concerns. These reasonable concerns and questions were met with condemnation of the gamer identity, of censorship, with allegations that everyone who wanted to talk about this was a misogynist, and the suppression of negative information. Some of the Gamers Are Dead articles, such as that by Devin Wilson of Gamasutra, even argued that video games themselves were possibly bad and created a toxic culture. Wilson wanted to create 18 rules for video game developers to follow moving forward. Mr. Wilson is entitled to his opinion, of course, but he should be arguing that more games that he likes be made, rather than arguing that developers stop making the kinds of games that he doesn't like. Gaming is for everyone, and all different types of games should be able to exist. That's the kind of world and culture that I believe in. That's the main reason I supported Gamergate, and many others did as well. It isn't fair to call us misogynists because we disagree with you, Ninetails. Let's not write people off as being moral monsters over disagreements. It's not good, and it's not useful. Let's do what should have been done from the very beginning. See the humanity in those who disagree with us, and have the conversation. I look forward to having that conversation with you tonight, Ninetails. We can be the change we want to see in the world tonight, one little bit at a time. And now I'd like to please play the video that I asked sent to Food Shops.
I support Gamergate. I write a blog about feminism in video games. I don't need anybody to speak for me. I am not your shield, and I am not a sock.
I'm the mother of 2 neuroatypical gamers. I support Gamergate and not your shield because I will not tolerate the vilification of autistic or neuroatypical traits in gaming press and mainstream media. Social awkwardness is not a crime.
Hello, my name is Julie and I support Gamergate because I support journalistic integrity. For supporting Gamergate, I have been called names, harassed and doxxed.
Hello, Not Your Shield deniers. My name is Thorn, and the reason I joined GamerGate and Not Your Shield is that on August 28th, my Facebook feed filled with gamer hate.
Hi, my name is Lauren. I'm a gamer, and I'm not your shield. I don't hate men. I don't hate women. I hate unethical journalism, and I want to see it gone.
My name is Liz. I am a confirmed pro GamerGate sock puppet account created by 4chan, and as a result, I have received threats of death, violence, and doxing, and I'm still not your shield.
I believe that integrity is important in journalism, which is why I support GamerGate.
Hey, I used to be a gamer and probably am not anymore, but that doesn't change the fact that when there's corruption in the medias and ableization of a good cause, all of that based on lies and hypocrisy, it's a big no-no for me. That's why I support GamerGate. We're friends. Bye.
I support GamerGate because I want reviewers to tell me to buy a game because it's good, not because their developer friend made it.
My name is Alice, I'm a transgender girl, and I support GamerGate.
I'm disgusted by the current state of corruption and bias in gaming journalism, and I won't be silenced just because the combination of my gender and my opinion doesn't match the media narrative.
GamerGate is what has resulted from an already untrusted games press deciding to aggressively attack, dehumanize, and censor its already marginalized readers.
I'm Gwen. I'm Altaria. Gaming saved our lives. Gaming was there for us when no one else was. Gaming brought the two of us together. Gaming doesn't make us bad people. We support the consumer revolt that is GamerGate.
My name is Katie, and I stand with GamerGate because it's ridiculous to blame an entire group of people for the actions of a few bad eggs.
I support GamerGate because I'm against corruption, lack of transparency, and unethical behavior from game journalism. I'm tired of the media misrepresenting me.
Hello GamerGate, I'm Thornblossom's husband. I support GamerGate because the Guardian told me that I had an imaginary girlfriend.
I am not your shield, and my friends are not your scapegoat to mask the unfair dismissal of Alistair Pinsoff for exposing the fraud of a Destructoid contributor.
Hi, I'm Queenie Martha, I'm a woman, and I'm a gamer, and I'm pro GamerGate.
What's going on? I'm a minority gamer, and I support GamerGate because I'm tired of these journalists and activists pretending I don't exist because I don't support their narratives or their agendas, and I'm not their shield.
30-year-old, gay, disabled man, and just because I express an opinion different than yours, I am fake.
Hello social justice warriors, my name is George Lee. I am a Chinese American and I support GamerGate. I am not your shield so you can engage in corruption, collusion, and censorship against my fellow gamers.
I'm disabled, I'm a gamer, don't use me as a shield to deflect criticism.
I'm Emma, I am 18 years old, and I believe in the beauty of gaming, in journalistic integrity, and the power GamerGate has to change things for the better. And that is why I am not your shield.
Hi, I'm a supporter of Not Your Shield. Seeing how these so-called social justice warriors treat anyone they disagree with, even slightly, is sickening, and I want nothing to do with them.
My name is Lily. I'm a Chinese American, a UC student, and this is not a war on women. This is about ethics and journalism. I'm not your shield.
It is claimed that GamerGate isn't about ethics but rather silencing the voice of women in the gaming industry. Well, I am a female gamer, and for the first time in my life I believe my voice has been snuffed out. I don't need men or women to tell me what my opinions are, or what their value is. I believe in GamerGate. I support the movement for fair and ethical journalism. I am against the harassment the fine young capitalists received.
My name is Nicholas Taylor and I support GamerGate, because as a video games journalist myself, I stand for ethics and against corruption within the field I've chosen to work.
Hello, my name is Carl. I've been a gamer for most of my life. I've had enough from so-called game journalists slandering our hobby, and this is why
your intro is finished. You are done.